Coming up on today's show, we're going to be breaking down some NBA free agent targets using the $12.4 million mid-level exception. Every team has this amount of money to spend, even if they're over the cap. Here are some players that could fit under that $12.4 million. This could be really good for teams low on cap space, for like teams like the Suns or the Lakers to be exact. Name a player you want your team to sign. Let me know down in the comments section. Name a player you want your team to sign in free agency. I think a clear mid-level exception target is Russell Westbrook, who spent this past season with both the Lakers and the Clippers. He was bought out by the Jazz after being traded. He eventually winds up in LA with the Clippers. Look, Russell's made a lot of money. I think he can take a cheap, team-friendly deal to stay with the Clippers here in free agency. Bruce Brown's really interesting. I could see him fitting under this MLE or absolutely getting paid. He was a huge part of Denver's championship run. Taking a look at the numbers here for Brown, 11.5 points per game, 3.4 assists per game. He shot over 48% from the field, 35.8% from three-point range. I am fascinated to see where he ends up. I wouldn't be shocked if Denver somehow found a way to keep him. But that might be pretty tough to do. Grant Williams, he is a restricted free agent, but after the Kristaps Porzingis trade, he is not expected to be back in Boston. Taking a look at the numbers here, he's played a big part of this Celtics team the last 2 years. Last 2 years, the Celtics went to the finals and then were one game away from the finals again. 8.1 points per game this past season for Grant. He's also really good defensively, plays a lot of energy, plays with a lot of heart. But again, after the Kristaps Porzingis deal, he is not expected to be back in Boston. Grant Williams apparently wants $15+ million per year. That's been the rumor now for a long time. If that's the case, he would not work with this MLE. Predict Grant Williams' next team. Let me know down in the comments section. I'm going to say the Dallas Mavericks, and I think it's going to happen via a sign and trade. Speaking of the Mavs, Christian Wood next up on our list here. I think it's more likely that he could fit in to that $12.4 million mid-level exception. Taking a look at the numbers here for Wood. Put up decent numbers. I think producer Coop would agree. He covers the Mavericks here. I just don't think he was an awesome fit in Dallas. Do you think he's going to get paid, Jeffrey, or do you think he's going to fit under this MLE?
Yeah, I think he will fit under this MLE, and he'll get a deal. I think it probably a 1-year deal, probably right around $10.4 million or $12.4 million.
I would agree. I do not think Grant Williams is going to work. I do think Christian Wood would work after putting up 16.6 points per game in Dallas. There's a rumor that the Golden State Warriors could pursue Christian Wood here. That's an interesting name to follow here throughout free agency. We're going live starting on Friday. Free agency gets rolling on Friday. We're so excited to bring it to you live here on Chat Sports. What's going to happen with James Harden? He's going back to Phillies. Draymond Green going back to Golden State. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when we go live on Friday. We're bringing you the best free agency coverage here on YouTube. Rui Hachimura, I think, is definitely going to fit under this $12.4 million MLE. He was a really good role player for a Lakers team that made a run to the Western Conference Finals. 12.2 points per game in the playoffs for Rui. 3.6 rebounds per game. Shot over 48% from three. He was automatic shooting the basketball. I think he was just a good fit for him in LA after being traded from Washington. Speaking of the Lakers, you can go get their draft at right now. Chatsports.com/NBA draft at. Not just the Lakers, but every single team on there. The draft was last week, but it is still not too late to go get your draft at chatsports.com/NBA draft hat. That link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Go and get your favorite team's draft at chatsports.com/NBA draft hat. Our next name is the villain. Dillon Brooks, who is an unrestricted free agent. He apparently wants to get paid this offseason. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what team is going to be willing to pay him. He certainly comes with a lot of baggage given his on-court antics. The Rockets appear to be the favorite for Dillon Brooks. I could see this happening. The Rockets could use some depth at the three. They could use a defender like Dillon Brooks, and the Rockets have more cap space than any team in the league, and I do believe he would fit under this mid-level exception if the Rockets want to pay some other guys as well. But if I was a betting man, which I am, I would bet on the Rockets to get Dillon Brooks. Caris LeVert, the next name here on our list from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Good player, man. I could see him going somewhere, maybe contributing on a team like the Suns, the Lakers. Really, injuries have been what's hindered him in his career thus far, which started in Brooklyn and then went to Cleveland. Max Strus, our next name here, had a pretty good playoff run with the Miami Heat. Taking a look at the numbers here this past season in Miami, 11.5 points per game, 2.1 assists per game. He shot 35% from three and 28.4 minutes per game. Had a huge role on that Heat team, as well as Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent, one of my more underrated free agents. I think this guy is really, really good. Going to bring a lot to whatever team is able to sign him. Think he goes back to Miami? If not, he might go to a contender or might just get paid, go to a team like Houston or a team that has a lot of cap space. 9.4 points per game this past season in Miami. 2.5 assists per game. He shot 40.2% from the floor. I think he's one of those guys that was just better than the numbers. I don't think Miami is going to be able to keep both Gabe Vincent and Strus, especially if they make a move for a guy like Dame Lillard. But who should they keep? Pick one player. I do believe they'll be able to keep one player. Type GV for Gabe Vincent or MS for Max Strus down in the comment section. Go down and let me know. Kelly Oubre Jr. next up on our list here, the forward from the Charlotte Hornets. This is a guy that might make some sense for a team like Phoenix that doesn't have a whole lot of money to spend. And I also believe he is going to fit into that $12.4 million MLE. Taking a look at some honorable mentions, Dante DiVincenzo spent last season with the Warriors. I could see them bringing him back. PJ Washington from Charlotte is a restricted free agent. And then Seth Curry from the Brooklyn Nets, one of the more underrated guys in the league. Even with Curry's his last name, he also could be an MLE candidate. If you're ready for free agency to get rocking and rolling, type me down in the comments section. I'm excited. I think you're excited as well. Free agency begins on Friday. Make sure you are subscribed. Again, we are going live on Friday. We're going to break down all the signings, all the trades. It is going to be a wild weekend. Do not miss it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications.